Hi, Axopar model changes for 2026. Let's start off with the Axopar 22/25 range. We are on the 25AX/E, which is not a perfect example, but still this does help to show you what is going to change. For example, all the frames like on the T-top here, the optional bow rails, pulpits, the water ski pole, they will be changing to white. This is an off-white color because this is the 25AX/E. But from 2026 on, a standard boat will have all white frames, pulpits, etc. And the rub rail will be, which is optional by the way, so the optional rub rail will be in gray. Secondly, an option that many people have been asking for is the BRABUS trim line. So really pleased to announce that for 2026, on the Axopar 22 and 25, you will have the BRABUS trim line as an option. And that includes a couple of things: all the pulpits, frame, if you choose for the T-top version, the cleats, the ventilation openings, the speaker covers are all in black. Also, the Axopar logo on the side of the hull is in black. There's also a BRABUS logo. And of course, if you order the optional water ski tow bar, that is also in black. The steering wheel is slightly different with BRABUS embossed logo inside. So the trim line, as we're used to with the 29, 37, etc., in 2026 will also become available for the Axopar 22/25. Secondly, the BRABUS Color Edition becomes an option. So if you order the BRABUS trim line, you can also have a colored hull, Miami blue or platinum gray. Furthermore, there is a BRABUS Performance line, which means on the 22 that you can order the V8 in a 250 horsepower option. I think that boat will be a real rocket with that selection. For the Axopar 25, it means you can have the V8 300. Both you can have either in white or in black. And if you order the performance line, there's BRABUS wrapping on the hull, there's badging on the hull sides and also on the console, and you get red stitching here in the steering wheel on the inside. So there are some details showing that it is a BRABUS performance line. Lastly, on the 22/25 is navigation options. You can have a multifunctional display, a 9-inch NSX, which is relatively new, or a 12-inch NSX, or a more premium NSS4 in a 12-inch version. Also, throughout the Axopar 29 range, you have the BRABUS performance line, which mainly includes these two fantastic V8 250 horsepower engines. They also are available on the 29 Suntop and the 29 Cross Cabin. And not only that, you do get these fantastic engines with which I think all these 29s will become real rockets with great performance, but also you have the red stitching in the steering wheel, the hull wrap, and with different accents emphasizing that it is the BRABUS Performance Line Edition. Also for the Axopar 29 CCX you can have the Color Edition. So also here you can have the hull in Miami blue or platinum gray. And you can also have the Mediterrana on the Axopar 29 CCX, like it is shown on this particular boat. You can see the upholstery here, you can see the optional soft decking right here, and of course you get this nice U-sofa setup in the bow area. There's a new option on the Axopar 29 range, which is ambient lights in grab rails. We now are on the CCX, and on the CCX there's indirect lights to make it more cozy and warm. Really gives a good atmosphere. I cannot show you now, but throughout the bulwarks there's indirect lighting. On the other Axopar 29 versions, there's also lighting in the grab rails. And with the aft cabin with the cross cabin version, you also have ambient light in the rail, which is underneath the roof on the cabin. And this is included if you choose the lighting package. Another great new option is the joystick piloting. If you choose to have the twin V8 engines, you can have this joystick as an option. It's relatively affordable, it's still expensive, but a great feature. because it also includes not only being able to steer with a joystick, but also to use autopilot and the great Skyhook feature. Also new for 26 is the battery monitoring system. Not on this boat, I cannot show you, but you do have the option to have a battery monitoring system. So you can really see how the condition slash status of the house batteries is. Furthermore, in the aft wet bar option, if you choose the aft wet bar option, you can have a gas hub so that you can do some cooking. That is also new across the range on the 29 for 2026. Also new across the 29 range are these great NSS 4 multifunctional displays from Simrad. These are 12-inch versions in a twin setup. You can have a single setup also, but if you do choose the twin setup, you can also have the Axopar Connect system, which is new for 2026. The Line-Tex upholstery, this upholstery, will be available throughout the entire 29 range. This Line-Tex upholstery again is available, but there's also a new color which is called Dust. And Dust replaces the Glacier color, but there are still the other two colors, Chalk and Sphere, are also still available for 2026. An option that many people have asked for are these port lights. There are two, again it's an option, but they open, you have mosquito nets, very practical. But of course you get more daylight, you get a better airflow, especially if you open these, but also if you close it, especially if you close it, because you can let the air flow through. So a much anticipated option which is now available on the 29 range for 2026. This may be small, but still it's important. A new flush mounted window and the aft facing big window if you choose the aft cabin setup. And this can be opened, of course, like this. There's a mosquito net available also, comes with this option. I don't see it now, but it's there. So a good solution for 2026 in the aft cabin setup for the 29 range. So I told you about the model changes on the 22/25 from Axopar and also on the 29, and a next logical step would be the 37. But the most important, basically nearly only thing that is changing for 2026 is that the 37 is going to be built as an iconic edition. And we made a separate video on that. So please watch our other video if you want to know the changes for 2026/2027 for the Axopar 37. So now we're on the Axopar 45, this being the cross cabin version. And the major change for 2026 on the Axopar 45 is that it is now available as a twin setup with a twin configuration in a twin V10 400 setup. Previously, I should say, you could get this with triple 300 V8s or as an option with triple V10, I think it's 350s/400s. But now this is a new option, a twin configuration with twin V10 400s. One that I personally like, especially for northern countries. I think this will be popular, not only because you only have two engines with less maintenance cost, lower weight, but also because the platform here is a lot bigger and just more practical, feels more roomy, both basically feels a bit bigger, and that is also because the engines have been moved back slightly to get the optimum weight balance. I made a separate video on the twin setup, so please watch that. I tried driving it, loved it, I think it's a good option. So that is new for 2026 on the Axopar 45. Front cabin changes on the Axopar 45. This is a cross cabin, XC cross cabin version, but this applies to all different, both suntop/cross top also. This setup where you fold this down, of course you can sit here like I'm doing now, but you can also fold this down and reconvert this to a bed. That has been reintroduced, so that is new for 2026. Upholstery colors have changed, and that is slightly different. Also the paneling here has changed on the sides. And this cabinet, which basically came from the travel edition that was there before. So this cabinet with these drawers, that is still here for 2026. Also here in the aft cabin, there's similar changes. The softer seat, the one that I'm sitting on at the moment. Different fabrics on the mattresses, cushions, backrest, and also on the ceiling panel. What I would call Mediterrana 2.0 is another change in the Axopar 45 range. I'm sitting here in a Mediterrana version in the cockpit area, and the ergonomics have changed. High backrests, they already were high, but the ergonomics have slightly changed. Still the seat bases are long, but this is a slightly different setup in the Mediterrana, again 2.0. Not only that, if I take you to the aft, to the sun lounge, there's some wooden style. I think it's not real wood, but these panels with cup holders are new. And I read that the Mediterrana is slightly lighter. I'm not sure I'm seeing that on this boat. But also if we head to the bow area, the setup has slightly changed. Here, I don't know the exact details besides these panels also here with cup holders. They are new. You have 2 cup holders on each side. So again, also here, let me just briefly close this. This is also changed slightly for 2026. The last changes on the Axopar 45 range include the 3 following items. There's a new gyro stabilizer which has been further improved. There's a new air conditioning system, and there's an upgraded / improved lithium battery pack. So there are improvements for 2026 also in that respect, but these are all changes for 2026 in the full Axopar range. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. Bye.